everyone, and welcome. This is Good to Know, where we share inspiring stories from across the country. Today, we are going to meet some pretty spectacular people.
It's pretty special to have him come and see the love in his eyes and the happiness that it brings him.
I was holding my baby one day and I was like, you know, one day I'm going to pay it forward and do what I can to help moms that was like me.
From the inspiring,
I started dental school and never looked back,
to a lifelong journey.
I've done 47,000 miles of the United States on foot in the past 21 years.
Come discover something positive.
Yes, she's a good girl.
I'm your host, Michelle Macaluso, and this is Good to Know.
It's friendly, it's fun, it brings the family together. It's definitely awesome.
I pray every day that I could just have love in my heart to spread to the ones around me.
He has so much love, even after the things he's been through in his life.
Oh, yes, she loved the dog.
It has not been an easy journey in any way, but it's one that I'll look back on and really be grateful for.
This is my favorite so far.
Our storytellers have found some pretty amazing people who are opening up, sharing their personal stories, and this Idaho couple's quarantine courtship is as sweet as pie.
It just seemed like it fell in place like it was supposed to be, and we feel like it just really is supposed to be.
Chris and Sana met in the 70s, got married, and had 6 children together. Throughout their 20-year marriage, they lived in a few different states, and eventually, Chris's work moved them to Ketchum.
We went up there for
Almost 2 years.
2 years. While we were there, we got divorced.
So they went their separate ways. For 27 years, their children would bring them together for birthdays and holidays, but the pandemic brought them a lot closer. Sana moved to Boise and needed a safe place to isolate so she could take care of her mom. Coincidentally, Chris also lived in the area. After a conversation or two, Chris said he had an open bedroom, and shortly after, Sana moved in.
We decided we better get to know each other again after 27 years. And so we ate meals together, went to pick up the mail together, cleaned the house together, just got to know each other.
The couple enjoyed the occasional slice of pie. On Thanksgiving in 2019, the kids thought they might be getting sweet on each other.
My mom was going around just asking if people wanted pie, and then she asked my dad, said, "Chris, would you like pie?" And he just perked right up and said, "I sure would." And me and Janae and Susie, my sister, just remember that as being like a kind of a nudge. Oh, look at what's going on over there. I kind of thought, oh, of course, but it was a surprise. I didn't know it had got to the point where they would consider that.
A few months later, the two decided to get remarried.
To see them sit down together in our living room with a piece of pie and just talk and just sort of reconnect a little bit without any outside, noise. They just had pie and they were just two people connecting again.
They had a small COVID-19 wedding with 4 of their kids and the other 2 on FaceTime.
They were apart for so long that them being happy is just awesome for me.
Chris and Sana call this reconnection their COVID-19 miracle.
Every day is a wonder. It's that it ever happened. And that we're back together. In some ways, it feels like we were never apart. In other ways, it's just
Brand new.
brand new.
And some things truly haven't changed for them. When they were first married, Chris would come home from work and say,
"Honey, I'm home." And I would go running to him. And now every time I come in, he runs to me. It's pretty special to come in and just say, "Honey, I'm home," and have him come and be so happy to see me, see the love in his eyes and the happiness that it brings him. Again, I just think, what a miracle. It's just a miracle.
"29-year-old Tyra Moore from Detroit beams with pride when she talks about her amazing daughter, Samari Malone.
I feel so blessed because she is such a sweet, awesome girl.
Just like her mom, who was just a girl herself when she brought a baby into the world.
Well, I was a bigger girl. I was bigger than I am now, and I was bullied a lot when I was younger, and so I feel insecure. I didn't think I was pretty. I was going through a lot of things with kids at my school, kids on my block, and I just didn't fit in at all.
Then Tyra met a young man who made her feel better, who made her feel
like I was a human, like I was someone that people would like.
Not long after they met, Tyra got pregnant, but virtually no one knew, not even her mother.
I was real scared to share.
Tyra kept the pregnancy a secret until she couldn't, because she started feeling pain and went to the hospital.
And they found out I was 36 weeks along.
A few days later, Samari was born. After the initial shock from Tyra's loved ones wore off, there was no judgment, no blame, no shame, just support and an outpouring of unconditional love.
I had so much stuff. The community, friends, family, all came together, got my baby things that lasted up for 2 years. I was holding my baby one day and I was like, you know, one day I'm going to pay it forward and do what I can to help moms that was like me.
And she is. Tyra started a nonprofit to assist moms ages 11, yes, to 25.
I called it A Girl Like Me because I was in this situation. It's people out here that will help you, and I'm here for you.
Tyra went on to graduate high school, college, and started a beautiful family. And together, this mission has become their calling.
Me and my husband, we drop off diapers to their home. We'll meet them anywhere, any safe place they want to meet.
To give them baby clothes, wipes, transportation, tutoring, mentoring.
We talk about preventing pregnancy. We also talk about peer pressure, mental health, self-care, hygiene.
And sometimes the items or gifts the mothers receive.
And they wouldn't even know it came from me.
Believe me, I know that talking about things that have happened in your life is not always easy. But being vulnerable and honest about it can really make a difference for so many people. People who need to hear it. People who need to hear your story.
Don't be ashamed. Don't wait till it's too late.
Because there are incredible souls like Tyra who will extend their heart to yours.
There's more that's good to know.
There's more to life than relationship.
A lot like many teenagers, Elise Bailey is learning how to express herself. And the 16-year-old from Port St. Lucie is also learning to own her challenging beginnings.
Newborn, premature, drug exposed, foster care. This is not the best way to start life, but this is what I was given.
Despite being dealt a hard hand at such an early age, Bailey wants to help people know that there's more to her than just the cover. She's overcome challenges early on and found acceptance at her Boys and Girls Club and adopted family.
I feel like being adopted puts you in a lot of labels. You get questions of, were you in foster care? Is that your real family? Do you technically look at them as your family? I mean, all those questions for me are, my family is my family.
Bailey was chosen along with a handful of other St. Lucie County Boys and Girls Club participants to compete for one of the organization's highest honors, Youth of the Year.
The Youth of the Year program is a great measure of how well Boys and Girls Clubs are serving their members. It lets all of our colleagues know at the Boys and Girls Club that the work that we're doing is making a difference.
Bailey won the Youth of the Year competition for the county, an honor that comes with more than $5,000 worth of scholarship money.
I was blown away because I started Youth of the Year just to get the experience of talking out and networking and stuff like that. But I never thought of, well, what if I win?
She plans on using the honor as more motivation to pursue her dream of becoming a public defender. Those who know her aren't surprised by her high hopes.
A lot of the challenges she's gone through and the adversity that she's working to overcome every day, she refuses to let anything stop her, which is inspiring to me.
Bailey has learned and is teaching others there's strength in accepting who you are. A big credit, she says, goes to her second family at the Boys and Girls Club.
It helped me come out of my own skin. I think maybe 3 years ago, I would not have wanted to step out and tell my story or what I've been through. And I definitely think it's something that now I've said it 100 times or so.
And each time, encouraging more to feel confident to share their own story.
We have so much more that's good to know. We're hanging with Miss America, and she has an inspiring story that helped her snag the crown.
You can like pink and glitter, and you can also like science.
It's good to know. Welcome back. This is Good to Know. I'm your host, Michelle Macaluso. When it comes to inspiring stories, Miss America has a pretty explosive one.
Life has been a whirlwind for Camille Schreier, better known as Miss America.
It's definitely a season of change.
Big changes in just a year and a half, from being crowned Miss Virginia in June of 2019 to becoming Miss America 6 months later. Then COVID hit, and Miss America spending her 2020 term, like most of us, on Zoom.
It's actually kind of been a hidden blessing because I've been able to continue to have a nationwide reach without actually having to travel and almost be in more places than would have been physically possible.
As part of her duties, the 25-year-old did close to 200 interviews. She used her platform to advocate for drug safety and substance abuse prevention. Camille took a 2-year break from VCU School of Pharmacy's doctoral program to pursue the coveted crown. During the Miss America pageant, she stunned on the national stage during the talent competition, performing a live science experiment. Her love of science started as a little girl, and she hopes these experiments on stage can attract kids, especially young girls.
You can like pink and glitter, and you can also like science. It's a snippet of the kind of excitement that can come from learning about science. And it's something that I hope can engage them and motivate them to want to go back into their science classrooms and pay attention in a different way.
Camille will be back in the classroom herself this fall at VCU to continue her studies. Because of COVID, she'll keep the crown just a little bit longer.
I'll be more of a modified Miss America instead of serving in my full-time role like I had last year, just to give me the opportunity to go back to school.
And while she's back in Richmond, she's not alone.
She's a puppy, but she's 8 months old, so she's more of a dog.
Meet Camille's rescue puppy, a lab pit mix named Roxy, short for peroxide. A name no surprise for the girl who loves all things science. Camille will be on stage hopefully later this year to crown the next Miss America. It will be the organization's 100th anniversary.
It's given me a world of opportunities that I wouldn't have had. It has not been an easy journey in any way, but it's one that I'll look back on and really be grateful for.
A dad walking across the U.S. has a message for all of us. Love life.
Some people are always on the move.
I've done 47,000 miles of the United States on foot in the past 21 years.
74-year-old Steve Fugett's one of those people.
I love life.
He started with the Appalachian Trail back in 1999 until tragedy struck.
Going halfway on the trail for reasons we'll never fully understand. My son took his own life.
Fugett grieved for several months back home in Vero Beach before completing the trail with a renewed drive and new purpose to mend a broken heart while it's still beating.
I was walking to talk to people to try to make them love life and not take their own life like my son did.
His walks continued past the Appalachian Trail to all across the U.S. 6 times over. While out in the wilderness, he recently found another inspiration for his travels, preserving the endangered Florida panther.
And one of the most endangered in the whole world. I mean, that's something to think about.
We caught up with him at one of his walks pit stops at the Palm Beach Zoo, where he met Sassy, the Florida panther.
I start crying to get to see this one, and particularly one that has been saved, and it's going to spend her life out here, and it just touches my heart.
This man literally started crying, had tears when he met her. He appreciates us and we appreciate him.
The way Fugit sees it, Panthers' lives are just as important as any other person's. His big heart resonated with zoo staff.
He has so much love, even after the things he's been through in his life.
Even through the pandemic, Fugit has made friends on the road, spreading his message of love and preservation in a time when we need it the most. From West Palm Beach to Clewiston, Naples, and beyond, Fugit's talking his talk
because it's an animal and I'm an animal.
And walking his walk.
Good news, bad news here. We're going to the dentist.
I'm just gonna check this tooth and loosen up a little bit.
But her story will leave you with a smile on your face. It's good to know. We're sharing inspiring stories today, and this dentist in Missouri will have you smiling.
I want to know when your tongue is heavy.
Her soothing instructions are comforting.
I'm just going to check this tooth and loosen up a little bit.
Patients here are in the hands of a pro. Dr. Ann Lambert Johnson is Kansas City's first African-American female dentist for 47 years and counting.
I started dental school and never looked back.
Dr. Johnson attended dental school at Howard University and historically black Research University in Washington, D.C. That's where she met civil rights heavyweights like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the 60s during the civil rights movement.
Andrew Young and all the people, Shirley Chisholm and all these people that you read about, you actually got to see and talk to and have conversations with.
Conversations that years later gave her the courage to face racial roadblocks when she and her husband Nelson moved to Kansas City in 1974. She practiced with another dentist for a little more than 2 years.
The problem was when I decided that it was time for me to get my own practice.
She wanted to buy this building and she needed a loan.
And I went to the bank, won't call the name of the bank, but the guy looked at me like I was crazy. He'd never heard of a thing as a black female woman dentist. And he said he'd never heard of that. He didn't think that was, I showed him my credentials and stuff and convinced him that this was true. So I told him I wanted to borrow some money, and he said he just couldn't loan me any money.
The practicing licensed dentist left the bank hurt and angry. As fate would have it, of all places, she went to the grocery store that day.
And I ran into an ex-football player for the Kansas City Chiefs, Curtis McClinton. And he was with the Black Economic Union. So I told him what had happened, and he said, well, that's a shame that happened to you, but we'll see that you get a loan, and we'll see that you get the money to get your building.
With a recommendation from the Black Economic Union, the Bank of America loaned the money to Ann. And in 1978, she bought this building near Gregory and Cleveland and has been practicing here for almost half a century. Dr. Johnson is focused on the future, caring for her patients and mentoring African-American girls, encouraging them to consider becoming a dentist.
I've had 4 or 5 women who are now practicing that even came and practiced with me for a little time.
Shantae Reed is a first-year dental student at UMKC, and Dr. Johnson is her mentor and hero.
She's one of the main people who have been able to give me the exposure to a practitioner that actually dedicates, almost all of their time practicing to helping the underserved community, which is what I aspire to do.
Reed is the next generation of African-American dentists continuing the life's work of pioneers like Dr. Ann Lambert Johnson, still blazing the trail so African-Americans will have an easier path to personal and professional success.
We've still got to meet a very, very rich dog.
Oh, yes, he loved the dog.
He's the mutt worth millions. It's good to know. Finally, the story about this Tennessee mutt worth millions.
Lulu here plays watchdog outside of her Nashville home, but the truth is she can afford to hire her own security. But hey, this is what a dog does. Lulu works the front door not because she has to, but because she wants to.
Yeah, she's a good girl.
Martha Burton is Lulu's caretaker, or is it the other way around?
Come here. Come here. Oh, she goes between me and anybody that comes along that she don't trust.
The two have been together for years as the 88-year-old Burton kept Lulu for her friend, the dog's owner, Bill Doris. He was always on the road, and Doris wanted Lulu well cared for while he was away.
Oh, he's always left the dog for me to take care of.
Then, late last year, the 84-year-old Doris, an unmarried, successful businessman, died. His will named Lulu and left her money enough to pay for more kibble than any dog could possibly imagine.
Oh, yes, he loved the dog.
Exactly how much did Doris leave? The will reads, $5 million will be transferred to a trust to be formed upon my death for the care of my border collie, Lulu.
I don't really know what to think about it, tell you the truth. He loved the dog.
The will specifies this trust is to provide for all the needs of Lulu. The dog will remain in possession of Martha Burton.
Here you go. Here you go.
The estate is currently in probate, and it's not exactly clear how much it's worth. But friends of Doris say he had vast real estate holdings and investments. Burton doesn't know anything about all that. What she does know is that Lulu is happy and loved. There are no plans to buy a solid gold dog bowl or diamond-encrusted collar. The will states Burton will simply be reimbursed for reasonable monthly expenses. She knows there's no way they could ever spend $5 million, but...
Well, I'd like to try.
Wow, what a cool story. There's plenty more to check out at goodtoknowtv.com. The good stuff is out there. Isn't that good to know?